Yo, it's me, Jeynick again, and we're recording a new LEGO Racers video, or a Speed Walk and Talk video actually, but I did another LEGO Racers run, and I am very happy with it. I made big improvements, and I'm actually going to be over a minute faster than my old run. It doesn't get me up on the leaderboard, but it's, secures my place, my third place for now. And of course, I brought our favorite LEGO Racers connoisseurs, Stacy and Ken. Say hi, guys.
Hi
Hello.
guys.
And there we go again. And yeah, we're just gonna do another run review type of deal. And we'll see where it goes and where it ends up. I don't have a presentation this time like the last time. But we'll just go through it because if you've seen the first video, you know most of the basics by now. And Stacy and Ken are gonna try hard to remember the first run, and we'll just see where it goes. So thank you guys for joining me, and let's get to work.
The next day.
Yo, so it's the next morning right now, and last night we recorded the whole run with Stace and Ken, but my recording software decided to not record it, so I only have like a 10-second recording, even though we did it all. It's probably my own fault, so I only have myself to blame for that. So what I'm gonna do instead is I'm probably gonna just commentate on the run by myself, and because I do want to upload this, since I have played it pretty roughly the past month, and yeah, I think I still want to do this on my own. And that means that I can take a break of it for a bit, and then I'll come back for it, maybe. Probably because I think this game is pretty fun. And yeah, other than that, I think it's time to get into the run. It sucks. I really wish that I had the recording from yesterday because we all had a lot of fun. But you might see Stace and Ken back the next time when I grab a new record, whether it will be my PB, whether I will be number 2 or number 3. Or maybe there's someone that will have beaten my record. So let's actually see that. And yeah, so let's get into the run. And I'll try to give as much commentary or as much information that I can give on my own. And I hope you guys will enjoy the video regardless. So the run is starting right now. It was a pretty good run, although it wasn't very risky. So I watched it yesterday with Stace and Ken while we were commentating. And so I actually know what's about to happen mostly, although some things might still be a bit of a surprise to me. There is a very interesting kind of, well, sort of a glitch that happened to me twice that is not in my favor, that can just happen. But we'll get to that. So this is the first race, Imperial Grand Prix. For if you didn't see the first video, which I highly recommend because we talk strats there a lot, and I had a bit of a presentation that actually dives a bit deeper into the run and into what's important for watching this and knowing and understanding what's happening. But yeah, so it's a pretty straightforward race, this one. You basically drive a full circle, get your 3 white bricks, get your green one, and then get your white one while you jump into the travel. So you can do it all over again. So I have played it this much that I know exactly what kind of time my lap will be and what time a good lap is. So for my second and my third lap, I always want something lower than 26 seconds, so something in the 25 range. I don't think I've ever had a 24-second lap, so that maybe has yet to come. But that was the first race already. It's a really fast one. So now we're going to Dark Forest Dash, which has a really interesting strat, which is called DFD Trick, or I call it DFD Trick. And I won't use it this run, or I will try it once in the mirrored mode, but which is the second time that you race this race. But yeah, I won't do it in the first race, and I don't know why. I think this is 2.5 weeks ago, and I was like, I just don't want to risk having to do Imperial Grand Prix over again if DFD Trick fails. So I have attempted it in the first video. And I'll explain next lap what DFD Trick is exactly. But that was the first lap. It was a pretty alright lap, just a regular one. And so what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to hold out on this green and white brick, which I won't right now. But then you pick up that white brick right there, you take a sharp turn into this one while you boost, and then you boost past this ghost here. So you don't use the travel, but instead you boost, and then you just pick up 3 white bricks, then pick the one up around this corner and you're good to go. So it's a pretty interesting trick. You'll see it, and you'll see it fail in the mirrored map, but we'll get there. For now, let's just enjoy this ride. There's not a lot to say about this map in particular if you don't use the DFD trick, so let me grab some water real quick. Let me sip on some water. And that's it. So that's only a 0.3 second difference, as you can see in previous segments. And next up is Macromoo Marathon, which I actually highly improved. So there is a new thread that I got from Green9, or that I actually seen on his video, and it's pretty interesting. And I'll try it this race in particular, I remember, but I won't take it to its full extent, but I'll do it halfway, so it's still faster. So what you do is you travel here, you go through the ports, then you see a machine back there which fires out 3 colors, which is red, red, red. You can even hear the beeps in the background. And what you do then is you take 1 white brick, 2 white bricks, then you use the boost, and you'll go through the designated ports, which is red, red, red. And red, red, red actually turns out to be the fastest in my opinion, I think. Because if you get blue, 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 that's actually a slower way to go through the ports because of the turns that you have to take. So yeah, what I do here is I travel instead. So what you actually can do for that thread is use a shield and then use the rock shortcut. So the rock starts flickering after you use a shield, but I won't use that in this particular case. If you do it that way and you do it perfectly, you could actually have a 19 seconds on the last lap, which I have at 22 right now. So I could have even saved 3 more seconds if it all went perfect. But you can never expect things to go so perfect. And now we're off to Desert Adventure Dragway, which is always kind of a coin flip race for me, whether a white brick will be there in the last lap or not. So let's actually see how this goes. So I know how it goes, but let's enjoy the ride. I found that firing the cannonball to open the shortcut there is actually faster if you do it later. Well, it's not faster, but it's more reliable, because sometimes your cannonball might sway or might shoot into the ground. You hear me beat my horn there. Jelen did that in his run, and that's I thought it was really funny, so I always do it too in this map. So now we're coming up on the last lap, and in the last lap we're gonna see whether the white bricks will be here or not. And that's number 1. And then it's always kind of tricky if number 2 is there, but generally if number 1 is there, then number 2 is there too. So let's travel, let's go through the shortcut, which is already opened. And that's well, near perfect Desert Adventure Dragway. And as you can see in previous segments, the letters are yellow, which means that I got a gold split. And I don't think I've beaten the gold split until today, because this is a run from 2.5 weeks ago. So I have been playing runs in between that to try and get a better time. But the time that I'm getting right now in this run is the best time that I have. So currently, while I'm doing this run, my PB was 47:22, which is the time that you can see behind Rocket Racer. But yeah, that was Captain Redbeard, and this was my fastest Captain Redbeard I've ever done up until that point. And right now I think I've done a 6:11 or a 6:10 Captain Redbeard, which is also great. So let's go to Kinkahuka, your favorite islander with the red mask. So this race is pretty boring. There's not a lot that can go wrong, as I always say. Probably if something does go wrong, It's not your own fault, it's like RNG's fault, and it only costs you like 2 seconds max I think, yeah. So what you do is you drive through the side here, and then you grab the green brick that is right here. You pick up your third white brick around the corner, and then you hold, and then you travel with a green brick. So you have your green brick for the next round, which will help out greatly. So 1, 2, and number 3 is around there. There we go. And 1, and there's supposed to be 2, which respawns in my face, and that's kind of unlucky, but it only cost me like half a second probably. So there we go. I even got an extra white brick as compromise, and I needed that because this one respawned just too late. I could have braked for it, but I decided not to. So I pick up the red brick there in case Achu, which is the driver behind me, picks it up. I don't think he ever picks up a red brick, but you can never be too sure, especially when you drive a Captain Redbeard like that. So let's get to Royal Knights Raceway, which might be in my top 3 favorite maps to run, and you'll see why. So I bumped into the pillar there, but it didn't cost me much time at all actually. I think it was almost just as fast as just doing it the regular way, which is cool. So this lap is going well. And what you do here is you actually pick up the green brick and then make a drift. Pick up the white brick around the corner there. So you can pick up the 2 behind the pillar here. And then with that you can actually jump into the shortcut, grabbing a white brick. And then grabbing the second white brick over here. Hope that the green brick is there, which it is. And another white brick behind the hammer, which might not always be there, but it is now. And that actually gets you a 22-second or 21-second lap sometimes even, which is awesome. I wouldn't say that will rarely happen, but it won't always happen. If you do this correctly, you can actually grab 2 white bricks, which I have right now. So all I need right now is a green brick, and I decided not to wait for it, which turned out to be a mistake. So I wait for it right now, and that gets me to the finish line in 25 seconds. And I won 4 seconds over that, so right now I'm 9 seconds behind my 47.22. And we're going to Ice Planet Pathway. So Ice Planet Pathway is actually a pretty interesting map, and I discovered that it's actually a whole different planet, which I felt really dumb about because there are spaceships all over, but I just never realized that it was not on the North Pole and just on a different planet overall. And this is what I really like about LEGO Racers. They have this really interesting way of world building the maps. And even though it's such an old game, it aged really well in my opinion. So yeah, strat wise, I just picked up 1 white brick around that last corner. I take a deep turn there, so in case one of the other white bricks isn't there, I can still pick up T1 in the corner. And then that means that I can travel right here, which is actually a second faster than like a backup strat. So it's always nice to see when that happens. So 1 white brick again, and I think that I will do the preemptive backup strat, but I'm not sure. No, okay, I think I'll do that in a mirrored map, so stay tuned for that. There's actually both bricks there. Sometimes there's no bricks at all, so that's why I said a preemptive backup strat, because sometimes you might just get some extra green bricks without travel, because you might not be able to travel. But this is the end of the race right here, not the run, the race. And that was pretty fast. I'm actually surprised that I wasn't gold split. I can't really tell what went wrong there, because if everything went well, it would have been a gold split, I think. So Amazon Adventure Alley. Right now I'm 10 seconds in front, which was for 2.5 weeks ago for me pretty good at this rate. And for me, Amazon Adventure Alley would be kind of my measurement race. Do I want to continue this run, or do I actually want to reset and try again? Because Amazon Adventure Alley is kind of the same as the desert map, where sometimes the white brick will be there and sometimes it won't. But on Amazon Adventure Alley, it all comes down to getting the fastest lap that you can, because you need to be in front of the group in the last lap, which you'll see soon. And if you don't, you actually lose about 6 to 8 seconds. And yeah, if that's happening, you're losing 8 seconds, then you might as well just reset, because you're not going to grab the world record anymore since it's so tight. I'm doing a backup strat right here because I can actually grab an extra white brick, but the bot decided that he wanted it too. So I have 1 green brick and then no white bricks at all, so I just decided to boost myself down the river. So in a normal situation, I would actually reset this run, but I got really lucky later this run. And yeah, but yeah, so this run's quite old, but if it was a decent, or not a decent, or a recent run, I would have resetted this, because I'm not running whenever I lose so much time on Amazon Adventure Alley for no reason. Which actually results in that about, I think 40% of my runs actually are resetted before the second cup. Or before the third cup, rather, in the second cup. But this was pretty good overall, even though I lost the 8 seconds on Amazon Adventure Alley. But I'll make that back. So right now is Floris the Bedlord, or Basil the Bedlord, as some of you guys might know him. Floris the Vleermuisridder in Dutch. And this is Night Marathon, and for Night Marathon there's a really interesting manipulation trick, I call it. It's to make sure that the green brick that you're seeing right here is actually respawning into a green brick in the last lap, because sometimes it will be a red brick because a bot will replace it, and that can sometimes be bad news. So there is an actual trick that you can do to make sure that it actually respawns as a green brick and not as a red brick. And it's about like a 90% success rate, which is pretty good. So what you do is you pick up the blue brick, which I flew over right now, so I can't do it, but you know what, I'll explain it in the mirrored mode, because I actually do it the second time around. So yeah, pretty straightforward so far. I don't know why, I really like this map, even though it doesn't have any interesting shortcuts or anything. It's just a cool map, I guess. And it has a banger soundtrack, as I said the last time in the episode. So I got really lucky. There was an extra green brick that wasn't supposed to be there, but as you can see, there's a red brick in the middle now, which isn't supposed to be there. But yeah, this is going good. I got lucky. Sometimes RNG is in your favor, I guess. So let's hope that the white brick is there. There's no white brick here, which means that I need all 3 of them. 1, 2, and the one in the corner isn't there. I'm kind of waiting for it to respawn. So you need to remember that UFO thing that you just saw there. Even rewind back a few seconds if you want to. There's this weird yellow UFO thing, which is a yellow block and 2 white bricks. And what it does is it keeps a hold of you, and it will probably pick you up and keep you there for about 4 seconds. And why you need to remember that is, in Adventure Temple Trail, the next race, something is gonna happen that needs a bit of explanation. And for some reason that actually happened twice this run. And that's really unlucky, because I think these 2 times are the only times it happened to me. So the same PSP trick, as I call it, Pirate Skull Pass trick, as the last time, where you drift into that corner, then use the white brick and then land exactly on the green brick, which is tighter than it sounds for sure, because you need to be in a really specific spot, because otherwise you'll be sped out a bit more to the right or the left of the green brick. I missed the white brick there, but it isn't as much trouble as it seems. So that might have been already almost too far, but it was still good. So there's one white brick here. We're not turning around for the other one since there's one around the corner here. There should be one, yeah. So instead of getting a 30-second lap, I got a 32-second lap, which is not as bad. Oh, I'm looking behind me there because there was no white brick. But the one there respawned right in my face, which is again really lucky. Like, RNG kind of is in my favor at this moment. So I didn't land on the green brick there, which sucked. And I don't think that a bot picked it up, I just think that my PSP trick was not set up well enough. So last lap, I actually got the boost, which I not always get. Mostly will be replaced by a red brick, but this time it wasn't. I actually still won time over it, even though the last lap was kinda bad, you could say. But yeah, I generally find that for PSP, my last lap is always a bit slower, but yeah. Let's go to Adventure Temple Trail and see what I was talking about with the yellow brick and the 2 white bricks, that item. So, I bumped into the wall there, and that's really bad. That almost never happens nowadays because I trained this map really well. And there is a new strat that I'm using on this map that I'm not showing off in this run because this is like somewhat an older run. But I travel early here, and what I would do in the new run is that I would travel later and grab the white brick farther in the corridor for a sharper turn and a bit more boost. So I slowed down deliberately there to make sure I don't crash into the rolling stone. And what you do now is that you use your travel into the shortcut, so you'll be put farther away because the game thinks that you're further in the race. It just sets you on a different path, which is great. So I slowed down there because I found that I actually lost control of my vehicle, and if you slow down you gain a bit more control of your vehicle, which is really important. Made a bit of a mistake there because I could have grabbed 2 white bricks, but it doesn't seem to matter since both white bricks are still here. And what I mean is that I could have grabbed both white bricks before I traveled earlier. I'll show it off here because I think I'll miss it again here. And that is why I really needed some practice on this map, which I had after all. Because this map is quite tough if you don't know what you're doing. So there's one right here, and there should be one right here, but it didn't respond for me, so, you know, all fine and good. So what happened there, that is really interesting. So remember the yellow brick item that I just told you about. So if you travel through one of those, because you will shoot really fast over the map, but if you travel through it, the game will still think that you hooked up to that one particular item. And it's really rare for that to happen because 1, the item needs to be placed, and 2, it needs to be active while you travel, and it needs to be exactly on your path. So what actually happened there is that I got pulled back to wherever that item was. So I got pulled into the wall, which looked really strange, and that's just really unlucky. It just keeps me stuck for, I don't know, probably 3 seconds there. But it could be worse, but still, it's a really rare thing to happen. Yeah, so we're here for Alien Ready Asteroids, and we're actually doing quite well, as to see. So what I do there is I grab a green brick while I go into travel, and that means that I can boost out of my travel, which is great. The shortcut's already open for me, so I can just go through it. And I will boost through. And that's the last lap. I got to pick up a shield real quick, which is awesome. Because I would have been hit by that weird barrel thing, which is 1 yellow brick and a white brick. You rarely see that item. I'm really afraid for that guy to put down that puddle that he just picked up. Alright, so time coming up for Flores the Batlord, or Basil the Batlord, as you might know him. And if you look at my last time at the Batlord, you can see that I have plus 0.0, which means that I'm exactly on pace with my old run. But I'll get some time back. I just lost a bit of time over the last race, Alien Rally Asteroid, and over Adventure Temple Trail because of that weird glitch. And also I don't think that it went perfect in the first place. But yeah. It's still good. I'm still on pace, so I decided to just keep on running. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I'm looking at my webcam. I'm probably on my phone or something, because that always takes a while. So time for Johnny Thunder, your favorite Lego knockoff Indiana Jones. And it's time to see if I can get a good time on Desert Adventure Dragway. Since over here it will still be kind of a coin flip whether that white block will be there or not. But I think the odds are better on Johnny Thunder than on Captain Redbeard. That's due to the behavior of the hosting champion. And I think that the grunts, the blue dots on the minimap, I think that those are a bit faster on the mirror mode too, but I can't tell. I forgot to honk here because I was too concentrated, I think. So that's my third block, and we're into the shortcuts, and then traveling again, and then it's fingers crossed whether the blocks will be here. And there's number 1. And number 2 is there too, which is great. Actually couldn't remember from yesterday whether it was there or not. So that's another gold split or Desert Adventure Dragway, and it's already rare to get one in the first place, let alone getting the gold split on both Desert Adventure Dragways in the run, which is pretty awesome. It's cool. So Magma Moon Marathon. It's really interesting for me to see this Johnny Thunder Cup back, because this is the run that I've been running against for the past 2.5 weeks, time-wise. And I call this cup now the Cup of No Hopes and No Dreams, because I almost never win time on Johnny Thunder. Because my Desert Adventure Dragway was really tight, and now this Magma Moon Marathon is about to be really tight. So let's see how I'm actually gonna race this. So normal strats, lean to the left and drifting to the right to dodge the red item there. I must have reminded the code, but I think I'm just taking the safer travel with no ports. So it says blue, blue, red on the screen there, but because it's mirrored, it's actually red, blue, blue. And that's something to take hold of if you want to run this game, or if you're running this game. Because the map is mirrored, the code on the machine is mirrored too. Although the code that is beeping, so the noises you hear, blip, 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 that is actually right. So it's strange, you know, it's really strange, but it also makes sense in some way. So I actually got another gold split, which is awesome. And I don't think I've beaten this gold split yet, because I think it went about as perfect as it could have went for that particular strat. It's just a shame that I don't show the Magma Moon Marathon rock strat, where you drive to the rock with a shield. But I'm sure that I might show it off in a run later that I might do in the future. So this is going well so far, and I think in the second lap that I will attempt that DFD trick that I told you guys about earlier. And let's see, so pick up 1 green, 1 white, keep hold of it. I'm doing it. So pick up this white one, take a sharp corner, use your boost. So my setup was already bad here, although it could have still happened, and I barely missed that white brick, and that just sucks. So what I do there is I pick up that green one, so I don't replace that green one with a red one. But this sucks. This cost me like 3 seconds, 4 seconds for literally nothing. I don't know why I wouldn't risk doing DFD trick in the first race where a reset is easy, but I would risk it in like a run that is already going well 27 minutes in. It was just a bad decision. So I pick up that green brick since it's there. It's actually a bit slower because you're taking a less tight turn, but oh well. Oh well. So this is interesting for me to see, because every time I run now, I win time on Dark Forest Dash, and this is why, because I just missed that DFD trick. And that's really stupid too, because I think I have about a 70% chance that I actually hit the DFD trick. And I had multiple times where I actually do a DFD trick every lap, and that's a bit rare, but it's really cool to see, and it's really satisfying for me to play. So this is good. I find that Mirror Imperial Grand Prix is actually a bit harder item managing wise than the Captain Redbeard one. But I might have to practice this one a bit on its own. Because sometimes I lose like 2 or 3 seconds for nothing. So first lap 31 seconds. Normally for the first lap you want a 30-second lap somewhere in the 30-second range. And then for the second lap ultimately you want a 25, but a 26 isn't like super bad either. Preferably 25 though. But I think this might be a 25-second lap, if I'm honest. It is 25.64. So I always pick up the earlier white brick there, because the one that I just drove over isn't there a lot of the times. And I haven't figured out why that is. But probably because Johnny Thunder is keeping hold of it. But because he was in the second place there, he might have already fired it out. So yeah, that's a pretty huge improvement. I won 6.5 seconds over just this race only, and that's kind of weird. That kind of shows how bad the previous time it went. But yeah, I'm getting a bit tired myself. After a long night last night. Of shattered hopes and dreams too. Stace and Ken thinks it's a shame, but you know, I'll have him over the next time when I do a run, because I'm pretty sure this won't be my last run of my life. So let's go to Baron von Baron and see if I can get a great time on this race. So the most satisfying thing about this race is that if you do your first lap perfectly, you can actually get a 24-second lap. And that's really cool for me to see. Like, small things like that really get you pumped up. But maybe that's like a speedrunner's mentality that I've built up over this year, speedrunning different games. So that's 25.15, so it could have been better, but it almost went as good as it could have went. So this is good. I have an extra white brick. And then I have one here too. Which means that I get travel for sure. And I will actually grab one with me. It's not the optimal route, because the optimal route would be that both white bricks would have been there, so you can grab one and keep hold of it so the bot doesn't pick it up. But still, it's good. And now I might have to wait. Yeah, I will have to wait for this brick. Stace and I were arguing, well, not arguing, but we were talking about the respawn rate, and she asked how much it was, and I said that I didn't know and that it might be 8 seconds. Then she said that it surely isn't 8 seconds, and now that I look back on it, and well, she already said that it wasn't 8, and I believed her, but I think it's about 4 to 5 seconds, maybe 3 to 5 seconds that it respawns. It's set rate though, so in my head, it's actually like burned into there, so I exactly know when it will respawn if I see it disappear. So yeah, this is a dangerous track because I most likely will be bombed there, but it didn't happen this time, which is great. I did a weird evading trick that actually worked. So this is off to a good start on Ice Planet pathway. Ken joked about this map yesterday where he said that it might be the future of Earth. Or that everyone just kept their fridge open. But then I said that if everyone keeps their fridge open, it will actually be warmer than cold. If you really think about it, but you know. And also something that came up again was the migraine snow of LEGO Racers 2. And if you don't know what I'm talking about here, go have a look at the LEGO Racers 2 Speedwalk and Talk, which was the first episode. And you'll see there that there is a snow effect that really might give you a migraine, and Ken could still remember that. The snow effect in this map is pretty good compared to that one. So this is pretty good, you know, it's going well. Not a gold split, but I won 0.11 over my old run, which is good. So RKR, Royal Knights Raceway, and let's see how this one goes. And I think this one goes a bit smoother around the pillar because I bumped in it the first time. But the drift really isn't as hard as it looks. So you heard me brake there, and that's because if you have enough speed, your corner or your drift will be tighter. So that means that I need to brake so to gain a bit more control of my car. Because otherwise I will just bump into the pillar again, which happened the first time around. That was great. I actually picked up that white brick with my little toe there. Which means that I can actually go for that shortcut strat again. And that one respawned for me, which is great RNG because mostly it's not there, or sometimes it's not there. 22-second lap, which is great. And then for the last lap, you always hope for the best. I'm actually taking the corner here to... I missed a white brick, which sucks, but you know, what can you do about it? Race better, I guess. That guy didn't get hit by the hammer. The hammer has a weird hitbox, sometimes you can just drive through it. But because Achu picked up all the green bricks from me, I get a really slow time on the last lap here. 29 seconds. But that kind of compromises my 22 seconds, so I still won time over it overall. And now Tribal Island Trail. Everyone's favorite island map. I actually really despise this map. I don't know, it's just really boring, in my opinion. So take that small shortcut. I think the boring part about it is that there is a really cool shortcut, which is on the right there, and not on the right here, but earlier. You can actually drive through the mountain, but you never use it in the speedrun because it isn't faster. I tried to implement a new strat where you use that, but it just, you know, it just isn't faster. So then you use one, or you get one, you get two, you get three, and there you go. So there's the white brick missing again. It doesn't happen that often, but often enough to happen twice in one run apparently. So I lost control of my vehicle, so I couldn't grab the white brick, but it's fine, you know. Could always back up, shred it, but I think that all are here, and all are here, so that's fine. So we're now going into the last 10 minutes of the run, and everything can happen from here on out, so I'm still pretty nervous. I lost about 2 seconds on this race because of that one white brick not spawning for me, but other than that it was pretty good. And I won 1 second over the whole cup compared to Johnny Thunder, so... pretty good. And now we're going to our favorite female alien in the LEGO universe. It's Gypsy Moth. And yeah, let's see how this will go. So Jeynick 3 again, by the way, which is supposed to be the Xbox One design that Ken calls. But I actually made some more cars, but it turned out to be slower. So I'm just still using this car. I just needed some new strats to improve my time, and I found some new strats from Green 9 and Jeden, the number 1 and number 2 on the list on speedrun.com. And I would highly recommend, if you would like to run this game, that you watch their runs. Although I think that I have some strats that they might not know about, or that they just might not use, but they maybe will know about that, because I think those guys played way more than me. I don't know how many hours I've played this game now. I think all runs added up, I might be on like 100 to 200 hours right now, somewhere in between that. But I obviously have a lot of like memories from when I was a kid when I played this. I just wonder if there would be anyone speedrunning this game that didn't play it as a kid, or didn't play it when they were younger. So yeah. And the last lap is ending right here. And bomb, Gypsy Moth for good measure. Actually, this was a pretty fast Alien Rally Asteroid, which is great. So Adventure Temple Trail again, and let's actually cross my fingers for a better corridor. So I bumped into the corridor there, and I've given it a name if I don't bump into the corridor, which I did here, but I didn't lose any speed from it. But if I don't bump at all, which is kind of you know, cool in itself, I call it a bumpless. So sometimes I tell my friends that I got a bumpless, and they'll ask about it, and then I'll explain to them what that is. So now you guys know too. So pick up this one here. I actually had a soft lock in this race one time, where I would use a green brick with 2 white bricks, so boost, flight, and then I would drive into one of those rolling rocks, and that would just get me stuck. And I have it recorded and stuff. I have some bloopers, so I might make like a blooper reel. Well, I will actually make that, because Ken and I were talking about it yesterday, and Ken thought it would be a really fun idea to make a really cringy, clickbaity video of like the top 7 things that can go wrong in LEGO Racers, or top 7 unlucky moments, which sounded really funny to me. So the strat that I'm using here, I don't know if it's faster, it's quite risky, but I did it regardless. Because otherwise you'd have to wait with using that boost and then pick up a white brick in the corridor later. I really doubt what will be faster, but you know, who knows. So casually drifting, and then grab a white brick. And I can remember that I actually will get a travel here at the end, which is awesome. That's not something that I get every day. So I can actually travel into the finish line. And that's really cool. This was a pretty good Adventure Temple Trail. Although in theory, if you actually have a really good lap, so my best is a 34 seconds there. If you have a really good lap, you can actually get like a 31, or even, I think even a 30-second lap, which is awesome if that happens, but you'd have to play really tight for that. It's a really fun map to race though. And then we're getting to Pirate Skull Pass, which isn't a really fun map to race, and is actually kind of RNG dependent. But I got the first PSP trick, which is cool. I think this PSP goes pretty well in particular. Better than the first one for sure. So pretty good 29-second lap. actually grab that. Sometimes you hear me brake because I just want some extra control over my vehicle. Which sounds bad in the speedrun, braking and losing speed, but sometimes it's worth sacrificing. So I actually missed the green brake, you see me looking behind me there. That sucked. Just had a bad setup. And also the mirrored version has a bit of a different approach for me because I obviously play the normal versions more because they're earlier, and sometimes I might reset and not play all the mirrored maps. So my muscle memory is worse on the mirrored maps mostly. So this sucks. No actual green brake for me, so I'll pick up the white brake guy for good measure. There should be a green brake here, which there is. It's fine. So I'm actually going for a risky strat here, where I try to pick up 3 white bricks and I can travel at the end. But it didn't work out for me. Or it does. And that brick was there because someone got bombed earlier and it just didn't despawn yet. And that's awesome. Like, that's RNG at its best for you. It's really, really cool. I didn't expect that at all. I was pretty happy about it. Saves me about 2 seconds or something. Something small, but stuff like that, if that happens, it really boosts your morale for running this game. Because it can be so difficult and so punishing to run this game with all its RNG elements. So I gotta travel right here. Pretty good. And then I'm gonna actually show the manipulation trick that I talked earlier about. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna use this, pick up the blue, replace the red one with the blue, and then shoot the red one. Which means that there is a blue one behind me there. And I think that there is a bot that will always use the blue one. So instead of holding out on the red one, driving through the green one, it will have already used the blue brick. Which means that the green brick will just respawn naturally, and it will be a green brick. So that's pretty cool. I don't know if you understood that. It's kind of rocket science. Rewind if you want to. It's the best way I can explain it, really. So the green brick is right here. It mostly is a red brick, but because of the manipulation trick, it got a green brick. Although it isn't like 100%. It isn't a 100% success rate, I'm trying to say, because I had a few runs where I did the manipulation trick and it still was a red brick or sometimes even a blue brick, which is really rare. And not what you want, of course, because you want all the speed that you can get. And that was kind of unlucky, but still fine, I guess. It should have been a green brick, but this is a pretty great, pretty great night marathon. And then we're coming up on the last race, which is Rocket Racer, and I'm 16 seconds behind of my 47.22 right now. So let's see how Rocket Racer will go. So I told you about that weird UFO glitch that happened to me in Adventure Temple Trail, where I would be pushed into the wall because the game still thought I was into that trap. And that will happen again in Rocket Racer here, and it's really rare, and it sucks because my Rocket Racer was going pretty exceptional. So let's see, the start for Rocket Racer is always a thing. So most optimally you want to grab that red brick, but the bot actually did it, which is no problem at all, as long as he doesn't shoot it, which he doesn't. So that was kind of lucky, I guess. You'll see me brake after this, so I can actually grab this green brick, because I really need that. If I don't grab that, it will cost me like 5 seconds. And reason is, I actually want to travel right here. Grab 1 green brick, then grab 3 white bricks, travel with a red brick, shoot open the door, and travel again. And that whole strat will save you about 5 seconds over not using the door. So that's pretty cool. The door travel does get you less far, however, so take note of that. So you can already hear it. And I'm just being pulled back because the game still thinks that I'm sucked in, and that just sucks. You know, it really sucks. So I'm just trying to save this run. So I will travel earlier just to be sure. And actually landed on a green brick, which is really interesting. I might actually be able to implement that into a normal lap. But that's cool, you know, a 25-second lap, it's time, it's 47:11, so that's pretty good. It's been my best run the past, well, ever, but I've tried for another 2.5 weeks and I didn't get a better run than this. So I think RNG really got in my favor on some moments, because this game can be relentless. Well, anyway, thank you guys for watching, and if you're here for LEGO Racers, I might actually make some more LEGO Racers runs or make some more videos about it later. I will for sure somewhere in the near future make that weird unlucky moment compilation. But for now, I will thank you for watching, and I will thank Stace and Ken for commentating with me yesterday, although it just failed, but you know, what can we do about it? But I would like to thank them anyway. And yeah, I'll speak to you guys soon.